Hey guys, Jeff Jones here. Bought these simulators for my 2003 GMC dually. They're just getting old. The old ones are getting rusty, looking rusty all the time. I had the little rim, outside around the edge. Just thought I'd like to dress the truck up. I've had it since new and wanted to do something a little special for it. So I got these from Summit Racing. I believe they're Phoenix brand. They're the ones you're supposed to be able to use with your existing center caps, which I wanted because they say GMC. I like that because GMC truck, they've been on there since new, so I wanted to reuse them. The problem I had was they were supposed to be easy bolt-on fit, and the problem is that going in the wheel in here, the old hub would fit right up here on this edge, right down to the wheel, and the simulator sits on top of this washer, which is on the bolt. I should get a little better view there for you. There you go. So you see this washer, it's probably, it's 3/16 of an inch by the time you count in the curve back down here. So the old cap sat right on the rim. The simulator sits on this, and now the cap. The problem is I didn't have enough distance with the existing plastic caps, and they give you new caps with it, but the new caps were only a fraction of an inch longer than the stock caps. So I was going to send them back and say, geez, not working, not what you said, they're not. Anyway, I ended up deciding to keep them, and what I did is I took the cap. This is the existing cap right here, and you can see this distance in here. We're going to look at these again inside. I'm going to show you what I did to them, but about 3/4 of an inch or so, inch including those there. What I ended up doing was I put these on my lathe, my 10-inch lathe, and I just cut them down. I made them so that they were a little bit shorter. You can see here I left those a little bit long because they go through the slots anyway. So I'm going to tell you exactly. We're going to bring it in on the lathe. I'm going to show you how I did it. This one's already done. I'm going to show you how I cut the other one. I did the same thing on the front ones. Just they didn't have to come down near as much. I probably only took about 1/8 of an inch off the front ones, and we'll go inside. I'll tell you what I took on these. Alright guys, this is a little 10-inch Logan lathe here. This was my grandfather's, and it's been in the family ever since, and I really didn't know how to use it most of the time when I was a teenager, neither my father. Like I say, it was my grandfather's, and I used it a little bit and broke a lot of things, and you can imagine, and I really got better once I started watching Mr. Pete 222 on YouTube. I learned a lot from him, and so this is a 4-jaw chuck. It's a pretty good size chuck. I don't know how many inches it is across, but it's pretty good size just for a 10-inch lathe anyway. So I'm going to set this hubcap in here, and we're going to take it from there. I'm going to do the best I can to stay out of the way. I had this set up already from doing the other one, so I know it was pretty close. And again, it's plastic. Obviously I'm not looking for high tolerance here. I'm going to take down just what I want to take. It's only plastic. However, just to because it is plastic and that's curved and you know it doesn't have very good grip, what it is, I found this old sanding disc here that it didn't go with a lathe, but or else maybe it did. Maybe it was something my grandfather made up. You can see it right here. It's a round disc, and it's got a thin line, and it conveniently had a little center hole. So what I did is I just put that on here and put it against the plate, and just as such, right against there. Again, like I say, it's not it's plastic, and all I'm looking to do is get it fairly true. I suppose if you wanted to, you could have scored a line across there and taken it off with a cutting wheel on a grinder. You know, there's a lot of ways you could have done it. I'm going to take it down about that much. And we can look at the old one side by side. You can see roughly, well, there. So took down about that much. I suppose another good way to look at it was on this one here. I did take it down well into these little triangular supports, and I had to cut them off. So anyway, well, let's just take a number on it quick, and then we'll know. Anyway, so here we are. This is the one I've already done, and I'm going to measure it here at the groove. So yeah, 1 inch, definitely 1 inch in that ballpark. And then the other one here is inch and 5/32, maybe a little bigger than that, maybe about that big, inch and 15/64. So anyway, I'm going to take it down to 1 inch. That's my goal. And this is my setup here. I showed you how I've moved this in, and I've got this here. We're going to run it a little bit and see how true it is, and then I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. Again, it's plastic. There's not a lot I can do with it, and we're going to give it a try. So not great, not terrible either. I'm going to bring it down here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my blade in here. I'm just going to tip this down, so there you go. And let's just zoom that in a little bit. So there's my blade, and there I'm going to bring it up to the plastic so it's just barely touching. I'm going to hand turn this. So, okay, so I got a little touch right there, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to just tweak it with the brass hammer on that spot. So it goes from touching to about a 1/16 of an inch. Okay. Whoop. All right. Well, got a little gap, but that's a gap, not really one side being off. All right, guys, that's it. That's as close as it needs to be. Again, it's just giving me more threads to grab with these plastic caps, and I'm just gonna put a little pressure on that. We're gonna run her. I had to do a little strange setup here with my tool because my little lathe here, I couldn't back it out far enough to get on there. So that's on there. A little bit sideways, but it's a nice carbide insert. We're just going to go ahead and do it. So we're at like now 1 1/16. So we're going to go 1/16 of an inch more. Everything seems to be going okay. It's leveled out pretty well. Okay, here we go. Another 1/16 of an inch. Alright, so that's us. We're 1 inch right on the money, right where I wanted to be, 1 inch. So that's matching up my other guy. And you can see I got a lot of little edge here. We're going to clean that out. It actually has, like, the chrome is actually a little metallic finish. And I'm just going to hit this a little bit with the, we're going to zoom out here. Okay, pull her a little bit sideways, and we'll clean that up a little bit. Okay, that's going to be it for the lathe part of the deal. These little tabs on the inside there and that stuff, I'll clean that up with the Dremel tool. And then we're going to change these caps. I got one other thing I'm going to show you about these deal. All right, be right back. Okay, so here we are. We got this piece. All I'm going to do is just trim these rough edges out of here. Which is just take that little. It's all dental acrylic, plastic covered stuff. Smells awful. So. Alright, so that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is just get rid of these tabs. You can see they're still sticking up too far, so we're just going to hit them with the Dremel tool. I'm going to take these guys down a little bit, because I noticed when I did the other one, these were too tall. So probably take them down to about flush with this, where this is now, and these are going to come right out of there altogether. So, all right, just with a Dremel tool, little cut off bit in it, little cut off blade, nothing special. .4½ inch grinder, cut off blade. That's just a little too much for the little Dremel. And that's it. We're almost there. And I'll show you the next step here. I'm going to cut these off real quick. Well, you know what? Just since I'm here, I'm going to show you that. These are the caps, the stock caps. They've been on the truck. Well, it's 2003, it's 2019, 16 years. I can't complain. These are the new ones. The threads go down just a little bit farther. And I'm going to show you, these are the ones, these are the old stock ones from 2003. This is what came on the truck, and these are the ones that Summit set. So you can see they're, I mean, a fraction of an inch longer, but what they do have is they do have better threads, almost right to the very edge. That's going to be a little bit more. I want to be on there at least 3-4 threads to hold these caps on and not worry about them. So again, this is the new one that came with it. This is the old one. Threads are there, but you know, you could see that's a pretty big gap to the end. Anyway, we're going to be able to put these in the new cap here. So these old ones are actually pretty hard to get out, believe it or not. They're stuck in there pretty darn good. I just grab them with these big pliers and wrestle them out. Give myself a little better grip there. All right, there we go. So as you can see, just pop them out. All right, so they're all out, and you can see now here's the new ones, and they have these 4 ridges on them around there, and first thing I noticed is that, guess what? They don't go in very well at all. And if you get them in, it's almost impossible to turn them. You're certainly not going to turn them by hand. Very, very tight fit. You can force them in, but just not really what I would recommend. So what I did, happened to have this old guy right here. It's a big old how many blade is it? 8 blade reamer. Not sure what it's really set for. But I can actually, I don't need to put it in a drill or anything. I can actually just turn them by hand and just run these in here. Well, I thought I could. Am I going backwards? No. All right. So here we go. All right, I'm going to reposition here a little bit. Grab hold of this thing just with 2 hands. There we go. Just turn it. And I'm turning it right up to the spacer, more or less. You can see not the spacer, the guide. So, and going to just repeat that on each one of these guys. Okay, so that's one put in. Again, we'll pan out later. We'll get a little break, we'll get a little shot at it. I'm going to go ahead and do the front one. Hang on, I'll set up for that. Okay, so here we are back at the front, same side of the truck, and these guys are going to go on here, and these front ones, you can see they sit right down to the rim. That's why you didn't really have to change the front ones. These actually go around these big spacers, whereas the other ones wanted to sit up on top of them. So I think Phoenix did a little better job with these guys, and I still took these front caps down a little bit just so I had a little more thread rather to get on with the caps. And oh, I just realized there's one thing I did here, which I didn't mention on the back one, but two things on the front ones. You have to obviously line up the valve so you can put air in it. Valve is right down on the bottom, and you want to line up the holes in the original rims so that they line up with these guys. Okay, 22 millimeter socket, just in case anybody's interested. The other thing I want to say is that yesterday when I was playing around fitting with the one that I'd already done, this edge in here is extremely sharp. You can took a pretty good cut on my finger, thinking I could just lift the rim up into place a little bit better, the cap. Don't do that, or wear gloves if you do. Okay, that's one side of the truck done. And I am very pleased with them. I must say, I think the product's a good product. I did put a little wax on these guys before I brought them over here. So let's move over to the shady side of the truck and put the other back one on. Okay, so here we are back on the other side. Once again, line the holes in the wheels up with the holes in the yeah, you can definitely see in here that if that space was, well, it wouldn't have gone down there anyway, so I guess it wouldn't make any difference. I mean, it wasn't deep, it's not deep enough to go down against the wheel. Okay, that was bothering me. Okay, so it does have the little the slots there. So these keyways do have to match up with the slot in the wheel. Cordless tool dilemma. They always die before you're done with the job. Be right back. Okay, that's it. That's wheel number 3 here on the shady side of the truck. And yeah, I'm very impressed with them. I think they look great. I think they dress the truck up a lot. All right, I got to do a little work on the last one. Haven't done the center hub for that one yet. So we'll do that and we'll put it on. We'll take a picture of the truck again. Okay, that was a quick turn down on that front center cap. Again, I only had to come down not even 1/8 of an inch. Anyway, here we go, putting the last one on. Okay, somewhere there the camera quit on me, not sure where, but anyway, that's the last one done. And that's what it looks like. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy, definitely happy with the looks. We'll see the quality. I don't anticipate. I think I'm going to take these off for winter. Just kind of preserve them a little. This winter up here is so bad with the salt. Definitely a not nicer look. Oh yeah, we got a rusty bumper too. That looking for. I think I'm going to put on a 2015 or 2016 bumper with a little step in the side. I saw a video where a guy did that with one, and it fit on there, and I matched it up against our 2015 truck, and it seems like it's going to go on okay. We'll make a video of it. So again, here we are, out in the sun, and I'm going to put it over there, and I'm going to put it over in the grass, and we're going to maybe take a little picture here. That's looking toward Andrew Carmada's house. That's his home territory over there. Maybe I'll get my drone out and show him the view from this side of the river. Again, this is Panorama Farm. It's one of the farms I take care of. Tivoli, New York.